You ever get one of those letters in the mail that's so absurd you can't help but laugh like the world's playing a joke just to see if you'll fall for it? That was me the morning the first Cypress Bend HOA letter showed up. Sunshine beating down on my 7 acres of sweat-earned Florida freedom, telling me real friendly like how excited they were to welcome me to the community. I chuckled, ripped it up, tossed it out, figured that was the end. Man, I was wrong. Turns out all I'd really done was light the fuse. That first week on the land, I felt like I'd finally made it. Decades of designing security systems for folks too rich or too paranoid to enjoy their own homes, crawling in crawl spaces, wiring up offices and government buildings just to end up here staring at a battered old workshop I'd gut renovated into something that finally felt like mine. The place was rough when I found it. Sure rusty beams, cracked concrete, every corner echoing with the ghosts of failed projects, but every bit of it turned into a piece of my puzzle after months of sweating in the Florida heat, laying a driveway by hand, sealing every inch so it'd outlast any hurricane the state could throw at me. Out my bay window, the world was nothing but trees and sky. Maybe the lazy whir of cicadas. No neighbors for a country mile except the master plan perfection of Cypress Bend down the road, identical lawns, identical houses, not a leaf out of place, and a permanent cloud of do this, don't do that rules hanging over the place. I thought let 'em have their rules. My line was my line and theirs was theirs. I'd drink my coffee on the porch walk, the dog at sundown. Rig up cameras so subtle you couldn't spot a single lens if you tried old habits. So second week and another envelope green HOA logo tucked in my mailbox, like a ticket to a club I'd never joined. This time it's a friendly reminder about amenities and neighborhood harmony. I crumple it, laugh again, figure if I ignore them long enough, they'll move on. Yeah, that happened. The third letter wasn't so friendly. Suddenly there's talk about compliance and membership requirements. I felt my jaw clench. I'm thinking, who do these people think they are? I dig out my deed, send them a certified letter with every document I own attached. Not a member, not interested, stop harassing me. I even mail it just so they can't say they didn't know. The very night I drop that letter off, I spot them, 3 of them standing right at my property line. 2 men and that woman. The one whose hair is so perfect it could slice glass. She gives me a little wave. I'll have a nice day, but it's more like she's measuring me up. I wave back just to see if I can crack her mask. That night the porch is quiet, but I'm sitting there turning over what just happened in my head. Most folks would let it go, but that's not me anymore. I know a threat when I hear one, even if it's wearing a smile. Couple days later, there's a letter shoved under my doormat. No stamp hand delivered. This time it's mandatory residency review and legal consequences for non-compliance. My coffee goes cold. I call the number ready to chew out whatever pencil pusher picks up. Instead, I get Karen Tully herself, the HOA queen, sounding every bit as frosty as her business catalog haircut. Mr. Barkley, your lack of membership is concerning. She says it like she's giving me a final warning. I tell her calm as I can. Your HOA can't touch me. My property predates yours and you have no legal standing here. She snaps back. It would be wise to reconsider. Life can get difficult for outsiders. That hangs there like a loaded gun. I hang up, but I'm not rattled. I've danced with bigger bullies. Next morning, a glossy pamphlet with a note in neat cursive. It's not too late to do the right thing. I nearly snort coffee out my nose. Lady, this isn't the Godfather. I send another certified response, every document notarized, lines drawn in the sand. For a few days it's peace and quiet, just me, the dog, the slow process of making a home. But I know what comes after the calm. One afternoon I spot a white SUV idling near the end of my drive. Karen's sunglasses and blouse like she's headed to a boardroom instead of sweating in the Florida muck. Window rolls down and she gives me that poisonous sweet, why make this hard speech? I answer, because it's my land and I don't let strangers dictate terms. Her smile barely moves, but her eyes go cold. You'll regret this. She speeds off, dust flying. I'm thinking, here we go. Next morning, one of my tires is flat. I'm ready to blame it on a nail, but then I find a wooden board, thick nails sticking out, placed like a trap right at the end of my driveway. There's no way that's an accident. A couple days later, another board, then my mailbox is knocked down, then a fresh gouge running down my garage door. It's not random, this is a message. So I start digging into the footage from my security system. At 2 a.m. there they are, two guys in hoodies and safety vest, truck I recognized from earlier, creeping in, laying down boards, scurrying off with their headlights off. One guy's face catches just enough light. I know him, the territory inspector Karen introduced. I don't call the cops, not yet. I know better. You don't win by yelling, you win by documenting everything. I upgrade the cameras, angle them, so there's no way to sneak by. Hide a mic in an oak tree. Add floodlights on a hair trigger and bait them with my truck. Sure enough, they come back, and this time I get them on tape muttering about how Karen said to keep it up. I save it twice, cloud and encrypted drive. I even catch Karen herself late one night talking into her phone about making me come around, then rifling through my mail before stomping off. But the best twist comes when Bill, the HOA's vice president, waddles up to my property line and tries the let's be reasonable routine. He acts like I'm the problem, tries to downplay the boards and the vandalism until I tell him I've got video proof. His face goes gray. Don't get dramatic, he says. You don't want to be outside the HOA forever. Are you threatening me, Bill? I hit record on my phone. No, just suggesting. Sure you are. That night, a stack of flyers with photos of my house does not comply, stamped in red, turns up at my driveway. Karen's crew is trying to turn the whole neighborhood against me, paint me as the threat. They keep driving by, phones out, trying to catch me slip up. I double down, more cameras, microphones, anything to catch them talking. Then I hit pay dirt audio of Karen clear as day. If he's not with us, he's against us. Do what you need to do. Now, it's not just harassment, it's conspiracy. I pull together everything, timeline, footage, audio, annotated like a court case, and call my old buddy Daniel, now a legal investigator. He whistles, says, I've got enough for a full-blown lawsuit. I go a step further, install plate cameras, trail cams, rig my mailbox with a hidden unit. I even catch them late one night, not just laying nail boards, but loosening the lug nuts on my truck's wheels. That could have killed me if I'd driven out in the morning. At that point, even Daniel says, Kev, take this straight to the sheriff. But I want one more piece, one more undeniable bit. I reinforce my mailbox, set up an alert for real-time motion, and sure enough, next night the black Ford rolls up the crew in action. I call the sheriff as it's happening, narrate the whole thing for the dispatcher, then step out on my porch as the lights flash on catching them cold. Sheriff's deputies swoop in, cuff the men, take my evidence, and start digging deeper. Detective Alvarez calls the next day. Mr. Barkley, this is bigger than property damage. This is organized conspiracy. One of the guys cracks, tells them everything Karen paid them out of HOA funds to harass me, all because I wouldn't join. That's all the leverage the police need. The next night, Karen herself tries to sneak another batch of threats onto my property, but this time 2 deputies are waiting. They cuff her in the driveway, her face white as chalk under the floodlights. Word spreads fast. Now I'm not the pariah she is. Neighbors who once ignored me now stop to offer support, some even promising to testify. Turns out Karen had bullied the whole community for years. When the case hits court, it's a landslide, videos, receipts, audio, witness after witness. Karen gets 9 years. Bill 6. HOA dissolved, funds seized for county improvements. I win $680,000 in damages, enough to rebuild, upgrade, and never worry again. So here I am, beer in hand, sitting on my porch as the sun burns red over the new steel gates, cameras everywhere, my property quiet for the first time in months. People call asking how to fight back against their own HOAs, and I give them the same advice I gave myself. Document everything, stand your ground, never let the bullies win. My new sign at the driveway says it all. Everything here is under surveillance. Try me. Now maybe you think I went too far, or maybe you think I didn't go far enough. Either way, lines matter, and sometimes you've got to draw yours in concrete. Let me know what you'd have done, because I have a feeling this debate's just getting started. What's fair, what's right, and how do you deal with power-hungry folks who can't stand a little freedom? Drop your thoughts below. This story's not just mine, it could be anyone's.